Everyone, and welcome here to Willow Springs for round 4 of the Sony Cup Series Championship. Cody Lamas enters this race still as the championship leader after getting the early championship lead with the Daytona 500. He has nearly half a race of a point lead on Ryan Acosta. Lamas has been very consistent, so has Ryan Acosta. They're 1-2 in the championship. They have finished in the top 10 in the first 3 races. They're looking to continue that streak today. However, on pole, Charles Sandfer took the Tag Heuer Pole Award, and that was pretty surprising. He's got John Art alongside of him, DJ Kurtis back there in row 2 with Jesse Turner, Matthew Rodriguez, Dejon Weeks in row 3, Ryan Acosta, Eric DeMax, Dillon Schwellenberg, and Ryan Griffin making up the top 10. But this track is very technical. This track, you gotta hit your marks with Willow Springs. If you don't, you'll slide off the racetrack just like Doug Lockrow did last year, and you'll pile into the banking. So, you gotta make sure you're on the racetrack, and this is such a tight little course. Any little contact can send you off, and you gotta be prepared for anything for Willow Springs. Let's get down to start the race. Set and ready to go racing at Willow Springs for round 4 in the championship. Charles Sandfer and Red Bull Racing are on pole. Behind him, one of the best road course ringers of DJ Kurtis. John Art, Jesse Turner really surprised me in qualifying. They are up here at the front. Dylan Young had to take a penalty. He'll start at the tail end of the field. The green flags fly. We're racing at Willow Springs. Sandfer's able to clear John Art, but Art slides, going to the inside in turn 2. This is a long right-hander. A lot of accidents tend to happen off this corner. Art slide, tries to get the advantage. Matthew Rodriguez up the middle. Matthew Rodriguez ran really well last year in this race. Came from the back all the way to the front, finished second. Looking to get the win today. John Art looking to take the race lead from Charles Sandfer. Sandfer round the outside, though. Sandfer on the outside of the 43. But John Art's going to take the race lead. Matthew Rodriguez looks to try and take second place. Complete lap 1 of the event. Oh, contact further back. Alex Benyako has spun off the final corner in the 8 car. Alex Benyako started the season off strong. 2 weeks in a row, he was up front battling for the win, and Benyako's in the barrier. Take a look at what happened. Looks like Benyako's going to get some help from Jeffrey White. White looked to the inside, but contact was made, and whoa, slides. Could have took out Cody Lamas, but he hit the brake, and Benyako slides into the barrier, and driver's side door has some damage now. Kurtis looking to get 3rd place away. He's on the door of Matthew Rodriguez. Rodriguez trying to stay there. DJ Kurtis. 2019, he started on pole for this race and really got screwed over. He could have won that race. Oh, Rodriguez tried to get the outside of Charles Sandfer. Sandfer put the block on him. We know DJ Kurtis knows how to get it done on the road courses. This could be a day where he can stamp in a win and get a victory for the 2021 season. As the field's remotely still together, no one's really had an accident other than Benyako in the first 2 laps. Kurtis still side by side with Matthew Rodriguez trying to take 3rd place. He's got the advantage, the line. And DJ Kurtis should be able to take it away and move DJ Kurtis up to 3rd. Kurtis looking to take over 2nd place. Matthew Rodriguez has lost out to both Jesse Turner and Dejon Weeks. Rodriguez is down to 6th place. Back there in 7th is Eric DeMax. DeMax is under a challenge from Ryan Acosta, Dillon Schwellenberg, Cody Lamas that makes up the top 10. James Shelly, Chris Dodd, Ryan Griffin, Zachary Fitzwater, Jeffrey White, the top 15. Nick Mace, James Sorfox, Eric Burton. Whoa, Richard Johnson and Bobby Jones make contact. That's 19th and 20th. That's Jeffrey Lynn, Sean Harple, Jeff James. Zayden Davidson making his first start in 2021. Made this race, he failed to qualify for the first 3. Samuel England, Zach Rodgers, Fisher, Parsons, Lockrow. Then it's Nick Breeding, Matt DeLeo. Vince Freeze, Hayden Klein, Dylan Young struggling. Him and Baskinger both started mid-pack, started deep in the pack. They started near the tail end of the field. Young's up to 34th. Jake Baskinger has struggled to make his way up the field. He's He's only beating the Breeding Enterprises cars right now, and he's in 38th. He's also beating Kyle Collins, who I believe has gone off somewhere. We're going to have to get a replay of what happened to Collins, but Benyako has decided to pit and repair damage and get fresh tires. What happened with Kyle Collins? He was battling Bobby Jones to get into 20th, and side by side, Jones Burton made contact, and off the course goes Kyle Collins, and off the track he goes. Front of the field, Dejon Weeks driving the CM Racing Chevy sideways. Oh, and Matthew Rodriguez nearly turns Jesse Turner. But Dejon Weeks won this race in 2019. And this race car he's driving won this race in 2020. Near contact there with DJ Kurtis. Charles Sandfer trying to keep John Hart honest. That Red Bull Racing Camry looking pretty sporty. Sanford's able to stay with John Hart. We know Sanford's pretty good on the road courses. He's got a handful of wins on the road courses. Rodriguez and Turner side by side. That's for 5th place. Ryan Acosta trying to join that battle. But Dejon Weeks has a fast race car. That Carl's Jr. Chevy coming to the front. And Griffin is going backwards. He started 10th, but he continues to lose some positions. Jeffrey White, Zachary Fitzwater has been able to get around Griffin. Nick Mace just made a pass there. And here comes James Sorfox in the United Emirates Racing Ford to the inside. Looks like he's going to get that position away, but Griffin will have the advantage in turn 2. Schwellenberg on the outside of Ryan Acosta trying to take this place away and move his way up to 7th place. Schwellenberg had a lot of momentum on his side after California. Matthew Rodriguez went off the course, and for 2nd place, Dejon Weeks. Weeks looking for 2nd on Charles Sanford. That's the best pass you can make. The outside on that corner puts you in the preferred line in this long right-hander right here. Sanford trying to cross him over. But I don't believe he's going to be able to do it. Oh, or can he? Here comes Charles Sanford. Puts a bumper there. Gets him out of the groove. Really early in the race. Sanford getting aggressive. Takes 2nd place back. People pointed to Zachary Fitzwater being a threat for this race weekend this afternoon. He's always good on the road courses, but he has struggled in the early going for the 2021. And Fitzwater trying to make his way up to the top 10. Fitzwater working on another race car, able to make that pass cleanly on James Shelly, and Fitzwater is up to 11th. Trying to challenge back on Zachary Fitzwater to his inside. So a race for 11th place. Shelly's able to get to the inside of Zachary Fitzwater, really driving it in there. And Shelly drives it off the course. James Shelly overdrives the final corner, nearly into the barrier. So he's not only going to lose 11th place, but he looks like he's going to slot all the way back into 15th. And Weeks working on Charles Sanford again. Another pass to the outside. Sanford's aware of this move. He had this move put on him a few laps ago. Dejon Weeks, Charles Sanford, DJ Kurtis, Matthew Rodriguez. Those 4 know how to get it done on the road courses. They have all won on the road courses before. John Hart's never won a Sony Cup Series race, and he's never really ran all too well on the road courses. He ran well at Road America last year, but in the Sony Cup Series, it's been a different story when it comes to turning right. But John Hart out front, in the early going at Willow Springs, he has led every lap. But Dejon Weeks has moved his way up to 2nd place and is looking to get the lead. Rodriguez to the inside of DJ Kurtis, now to the outside. Road course racing, you have to kind of think a few turns ahead. Positioning yourself for the best spot in the best corner. You gotta kind of go to the outside in one corner that prepares you for the inside in the very next. And Matthew Rodriguez uses DJ Kurtis as a way to get by him. Matthew Rodriguez making the moves. Rodriguez looking to the outside of DJ Kurtis. Road course racing, you got to kind of position yourself for the corner ahead. You really got to think of your moves. Go to the outside in one corner, which could prepare you for the inside for the very next. And Matthew Rodriguez outsmarts one of the best road course ringers, DJ Kurtis, and moves his way up to 4th. We have barely talked about it, but we're going to highlight it because it is a key story. Richard Johnson. Many people still call him King Richard, even though he's 3rd on the all-time wins list, and he's tied for the most championships in the Sony Cup Series. Richard has done everything possible in his Sony Cup Series career except win the Daytona 500. That's one of the key reasons why Richard Johnson has said he does not go racing full-time. But substituting in 05, Jacob Hart was in this ride the last couple of weeks, and Richard trying to battle with Jordan Fisher. He has dropped down to 25th. Getting a battle for the lead. Near contact between the ex-teammates. John Art kind of running Dejon Weeks a little wide. Weeks needs to get going because Sandfer's closing the gap. Matthew Rodriguez has a fast race car. John Art struggling through the corners, it seems. Here comes Weeks. Again, going to use the same tactics he's been using on every competitor to get to the front, to the outside. This is going to set him up for the long right-hander on the inside, right where he wants to be. Dillon Schwellenberg on Jesse Turner. Turner gets the power down the straightaway. Ford has the power over Toyota. But Chevy versus Dodge at the front. It is Chevy that's coming to the front. Dejon Weeks and the Carl's Jr. Chevy taking the race lead from John Art. This is the first time Art's lost the lead. And Dejon Weeks out front, and Charles Sanford coming to second. Rodriguez also making that move on John Art to the inside. Matthew Rodriguez loves this racetrack. He ran so well here last year. That car was hooked up. Art kind of drove off the course, lost some ground. Matthew Rodriguez trying to get alongside of Charles Sanford. Sanford, Rodriguez. Rodriguez slides into Sanford, making contact, but Rodriguez has the line on the outside. The inside quickly changes to the outside, but Rodriguez. That's the same pass I've been seeing Dejon Weeks do on everybody, and it is working. Matthew Rodriguez makes it happen. He's up to second place. Zachary Fitzwater making a challenge. Fitzwater looking to get 10th place from Ryan Acosta. Acosta struggling with his Dodge a little bit. They're side by side, but Acosta's going to have the advantage into turn one, but it's all about if Zachary Fitzwater and Nick Mace has been off. See Nick Mace on pit road. Acosta's going to keep that position on Zachary Fitzwater. Happened with Nick Mace. Nick Mace just driving through turns 1 and 2, or driving through turns 2 and 3. And Nick Mace just drives off the course and does the same thing that Doug Lockrow did last year. This time, it looks a lot more vicious than what Lockrow did. Lockrow did just a classic tumble, but Nick Mace went for a wild ride. Riding on board with Nick Mace. Nick Mace trying to close the gap on Chris Dodd, trying to get as much power down on the exit, and he just got on the gas a little too early. And Nick Mace, his return to the Sony Cup Series full time. It's not starting off too well. He's outside the top 30 in owner points, and this is going to suck for him. On board with James Sorfox. Nick Mace's car just would not turn, and off he went. Sanford is a fighter, though, trying to take second place back away from Matthew Rodriguez. Oh, slams! They slam doors off that final corner. Fitzwater and Acosta still doing it out for 10th place, but Sanford around the outside of Matthew Rodriguez. They made contact off the final corner. Sanford practically door slammed him to get back into second place. Look at that from John Art's view. Sanford kind of used up Matthew Rodriguez, and Rodriguez is someone you really wouldn't want to test on the racetrack like that. 11, Dylan Young, Zach Rodgers doing battle. That is for, I believe, the 27th position or 26th position. Young steadily coming to the front, but Jake Baskinger still struggling. He's racing with Hayden Klein. That is for 31st. And Baskinger is taking him a long time to try and clear the traffic and get to the front. This is going to be hurting him in the point standings if he cannot find a way back to the front. He is just struggling in dirty air, as you've seen in turn 1. Behind Doug Lockrow, he just cannot follow cars. The championship leader of Cody Lamas has ran in the back of Eric DeMax, and there it is. So Cody Lamas in the 48, the championship leader, has some front end damage. 1 Weeks is trying to check out, trying to pull the gap on second place Charles Sanford, and that gap is steadily building. Martin, our defending champion of the series, driving part-time in the Sony Cup Series, racing full-time for Breeding Enterprises in the Napa Truck Series, and he's running in 36th place, which is actually quite decent. When he's outrunning Brandon Parsons, Mason Gordon, Kyle Collins has been in some trouble, and Nick Pericles, his teammate. Martin in the 15, in an underfunded car. We always wonder how drivers like Luke Martin's caliber would perform in underfunded equipment. Right now, he's at the tail end of the field. Martin doing what he can with that machine, trying to run down Nick Brady in the 08. Rogers is spun off the corner in turn 2. And a lot of cars checking up. But Rogers in the 99s made contact with, I think, Matt DeLeo. Here it is, race for 27th place. It was Rogers, Caps, DeLeo. And DeLeo went all the way to the inside. There were 3 wide. Caps tried to keep his nose in there when he really should have lifted. And Rogers went for a spin right in front of affiliate teammate Jake Baskinger. And Rogers loses valuable time. Problems for Richard Johnson. Johnson is spun. What happened with Richard Johnson? Oh, he cut up in front of Dillon Young. Honestly, that's a little bit on Johnson's part. But Richard tried to clear Dillon Young and ended up turning himself. Another view of it. Richard Johnson, Ryan Griffin, Dillon Young. This is all a race for 25th, or probably 24th. But Richard Johnson, you can see, checks up a lot in front of Dillon Young, and Young just was not expecting that. And Johnson goes for a spin. James, Bobby Jones, that's a battle for 17th place. And this is a race that Jeff James really needs. He needs a top 20 finish. Needs a good, solid run. He's been involved in wrecks, and it's just not been the start of the season he would have liked. Jeffrey Lynn doing battle with Zayden Davidson. That's 19th and 20th. Bobby Jones and Jeff James continue to hash it out for this 17th position. Zachary Fitzwater trying to make his presence into the top 10. To the inside, now the outside of Cody Lamas. Jeffrey White, Lamas' teammates there. White looking for a good points today after a bad performance at California. Fitzwater tries to run Lamas wide, and it works. Fitzwater's into 10th place. Fitzwater looking to pick off another race car. Here he is to the inside, now the outside of Eric DeMax. Oh, DeMax had to check up a lot in turn 2. Zachary Fitzwater is spun. And that's a lot of front-end damage for Zachary Fitzwater. Zachary Fitzwater is very far and down below in the point standings. Needed a good points day. It has not been the season he would have liked. Near contact with Bobby Jones. Jones slides. Keeps it on the racetrack, though. But Fitzwater, that's going to be a day ender, I believe. I don't see that car. If it can run, it's going to run severely off the pace. Well, Zachary Fitzwater has pitted, and they took the hood off the race car. So they're going to try and get some points on the board. Fitzwater's team not giving up. Lap 20 on the board. Dejon Weeks has a 2.5 second lead. Oh, wow. That changed a lot in the lap. He gained about a second on Charles Sandford that lap. Sanford's in second. John Arndt's third. Matthew Rodriguez, DJ Kurtis, the top 5. Dylan Schwellenberg looks like he wants to try and join that top 5 battle. Here he comes, the inside of DJ Kurtis. Schwellenberg, pretty good on the road courses, it seems. To the outside of DJ Kurtis, that challenge for 5th gonna go on. Turner's in 7th. Then it's Ryan Acosta, Eric DeMax with a lot of back-end damage now. And that Mason Enterprises Chevy. The other Chevy of Jeffrey White. Oh, it looked like there was contact further ahead, but no, the tires are falling off of these race cars. They're very loose in the corners. Jeffrey White in the top 10. Then it's Lamas 11th. Chris Dodd, James Sorfox, James Shelly, Eric Burton, Jeff James, Jeffrey Lynn, Bobby Jones, Dillon Young, and Sean Harple. That's the top 20. Then it's Jordan Fisher, Samuel England, Ryan Griffin, Dom Caps, Jake Bassinger all the way down to 25th. This has been a poor showing from him. Matt DeLeo for Joseph Strigley Racing in 26th. The other car, the 18, is up to 27th. Then it's Doug Lockrow, Vince Vries, Richard Johnson. That's the top 30. Hayden Klein, Kyle Collins, Luke Martin, Nick Breeding, Brandon Parsons, Nick Pericles, Mason Gordon, Alex Benyako, Zachary Fitzwater, and it looks like the 47 of Zayden Davidson. Whether it's been a crash or not, maybe he's had to pit. Yes, Zayden Davidson has had to come down pit road very early. It's not even halfway yet. Short pitting by a mile or either an issue on the 47. 26 goes on the board. We have reached halfway in the race now. Sanford, Eric DeMax. Those are some of the contenders inside the top 10 that are choosing to come in early. But really, once somebody pits, you're going to follow right into pit road. Tires are going to mean a whole lot. You're only pitting one time. You only have one time to make an adjustment. Everyone else is going to come down pit road. Dejon Weeks leads a whole host of race cars. After pit stops, Dejon Weeks has this gigantic lead. 8.5-second advantage on Charles Sandfer. Then it's John Art, Matthew Rodriguez, Dillon Schwellenberg, DJ Kurtis Turner, Jeffrey White, Ryan Acosta, Chris Dodd. That's the top 10. Everyone has pitted, as you can see, the running order on your screen. Zach Rodgers in the 99. I don't know if he's... I think he pitted earlier than everyone else. Same with Zayden Davidson, the 47. So we're not sure where they're exactly at, if they're going to have to pit one more time. But Dylan Young in the 16 on the outside of Jordan Fisher, trying to make his presence known in the top 20. What a move this could be. On the outside, Young really carried a lot of speed there, just was not able to make it stick. Fisher down to the inside on Zach Rodgers. That's for 19th place. It's for Richard Johnson, and his Whataburger Camry is coming to a halt. And Richard Johnson, his race has really not been all too good to him. And Richard Johnson's going to fall out of the running. Art riding in third, trying to catch up to Charles Sandfer to battle with him. Matthew Rodriguez is in fourth, trying to set up a pass on John Art in his 43 car. John Art slides up the course. Wow! John Art really overdrove that corner. He lost the race car or something. That car stepped out on that last corner. He has a lot of driver's side impact. That door is caved in now. And Art has lost a handful of positions. He is down to 6th place. I'm going to try and get a view of it. Art, yeah, you look like he was out of the groove heading into the final corner. And the car just would not stick. And John Art threw away a real good run there. And he's going to drop outside the top 5. The battle for second has changed hands a little bit. Sandfer, Matthew Rodriguez, they door slammed each other earlier in the race. And while the leader, Dejon Weeks, has about a 10-second advantage, Sandfer and Rodriguez want to hang on because you never know what can happen in the Sony Cup Series. A 10-second lead by Dejon Weeks at the line. Rodriguez has gotten to the inside of Charles Sandfer, but Sandfer has the preferred groove the very next corner. Rodriguez trying to stay with him because he's in a good position if he can stay alongside. But it's so hard to do that in that corner, but he's managed to do that. Rodriguez and Sandfer charging up the hill. That Red Bull Camry, both Camrys running really well. Toyota has a good package on the road courses. But Sandfer has really dug in today. Sandfer trying to get his 20th career Sony Cup Series win, but it's going to take a miracle for that to happen. Dejon Weeks would need to have some issues, or they would need to make a huge charge starting now to try and run down that 3 car, but Rodriguez round the outside. Sandfer again. They keep coming back and forth at each other, and Sandfer takes 2nd place again. Baskinger, Dillon Young, they have entered the top 20. They started deep in the field. Young started 42nd. Jake Baskinger, he started in 38th or 39th. But they have had to come from a long ways back. It's taken them a while. Trying to get decent points days. The race is still not over. John Art continues to really struggle with this 43 car. You see all that damage in the 43. He ran really wide that last corner. He continues to lose time. Jeffrey White, Jesse Turner, Ryan Acosta, they're going to be on him in a handful of laps. After pit stops when Zach Rodgers and Zayden Davidson were midfield, we were thinking they had to pit again. And indeed, they have had to do that. Rodgers is in 37th. Davidson's in 38th. So they had to pit twice. But up front, Dejon Weeks leads this race. It has been 44 races without a win for Dejon Weeks. He continues to pull the gap. He's got a 10.5-second advantage on Matthew Rodriguez. We know Weeks won here in 2019. Luke Martin won with this race car last year. So we knew he was coming in this race as the favorite. And Weeks looking very strong. Dejon Weeks, the engine. Let's go. The Carl's Jr. Chevy is up in smoke. Dejon Weeks, the engine has gone up in smoke for his machine, and going by him, Matthew Rodriguez has taken over the race lead. All too familiar sight to Dejon Weeks. Last year, he blew up a lot of motors and was very competitive. For CM Racing, this very remotely ever happens. We know Luke Martin had an engine failure at Watkins Glen last year. We know Richard Johnson in this race. Another Flying Aces, or another Flying Fox Alliance car blew a motor. And this is just devastating. Losing the lead to Matt Rodriguez, and Charles Sandfer and DJ Kurtis. They all have found a new light. Here's why you never give up. 10.5 seconds back. And Rodriguez sees the leader with an engine failure. And Rodriguez back out front. Absolutely unreal. Matthew Rodriguez is in the lead by 1.5 seconds on Charles Sandfer. Sandfer and DJ Kurtis see this as an opportunity to try and get the race win. They have a ways to go to get up the road to Matthew Rodriguez. Dillon Schwellenberg in the 10 is in 4th. John Hart's 5th. Jesse Turner's dropped a ways. Jeffrey White's up to 6th. Turner's down to 7th. Then it's Ryan Acosta. Chris Dodd. Dodd's got damage in the 44. Jeffrey Lynn's in the top 10. What has gone on? Something looks like it's been amiss. Happened. Chris Dodd in the 44. Slipped in the oil and slid right into Dejon Weeks. Cody Lamas, Eric Burton, and a handful of others ran up on the accident. The championship leader. Lamas was trying to get a top 10 again, continue that streak. And a lot of cars. Eric Burton, James Sorfox, Eric Tamax, Shelly. That's opened the door for Jeffrey Lynn to move up into 10th place. As Weeks creeps down pit road, Silverfox, Burton, and Cody Lamas will join him. Weeks is out of the race. Silverfox, Burton, and Lamas are going to try and stay in this, but they have a load of damage, and it doesn't help that Lamas ran in the back of Burton on pit road. Another engine failure. Nick Pericles in the 1. Nick Pericles, where was he running at? Pericles was in 39th and was poised to gain a few positions, but now he's only going to gain 1 point and out of the race. Well, we're going to come with like 10 laps to go. You see the top 10 on your screen there. We're going to go outside of the top 10. We know Jeffrey Lynn really needs a good points day. He's in 10th place. Winner at Watkins Glen. That team has struggled in the first 4 races. This race in particular as well. That team, Horizon Group, is just missing something. They need to find their mojo, and a top 10 would really help them. James Shelley's in 11th, Eric Tamax. Then it's Jeff James at 13th. What a run this would be for him to gain a lot of points. That's 27 points on the board if he can finish there. Dylan Young's in the top 15 with Jordan Fisher, Bobby Jones, Dom Capps, Samuel England. Then Sean Harple. Charlie Smith is in 20th. Staying out of trouble in that 18 car. He was really struggling early on in the going. His teammate was doing better than him. Vince Freeze at 55. Coming to life late. Jake Baskinger's got a lot of back-end damage. Somebody's been in the back of him. He's down to 22nd. A race he would love to forget, Jake Baskinger would. It's just been poor. The California winner just has not been there all day. Matt DeLeo 23rd. Ryan Griffin 24th. Kyle Collins. Hayden Klein. Doug Lockrow. James Sorfox. Brandon Parsons. Nick Breeding. That's the top 30. Then it's Zach Rodgers getting past Eric Burton. Zachary Fitzwater, Zayden Davidson, Mason Gordon. Luke Martin looks like he's been in some issues. He's had to come down pit road. 36th. And then the championship leader in 37th. That is just not a good run at all for him. Looks like he could possibly lose the championship lead. And Ryan Acosta looks like he could get 4 straight top 10s in a row. Shelly looking to get a top 10 run. He's been in some incidents this race. And James Shelly in that. Look at him and Chris Dodd are beat to hell. And Shelly moves past Chris Dodd to enter the top 10. Continues to be on the move. Look at him going up in the 13th place. Young started dead last and could be a threat to try and get into the top 10. James Shelly holds 10th place. Max challenging back in the 4th car. Able to move up into 10th place on James Shelly. Shelly in the beat up 71 Ford. Really struggling with his handling on his machine. Eric DeMax is as well. Jeff James could be a contender to get a top 10 run for Martin Motorsports. Be a great show for them, wouldn't it? Dylan Young's back there. Jordan Fisher, Bobby Jones, Dodd's falling a long ways back. Dom Capps is there with him. But DeMax holds that all-important top 10 spot. You want to score top 10s. Top 10s mean a lot in this series. James Shelly gonna challenge back onto Max again to the inside. While at the front, Matthew Rodriguez continues to stretch the lead out. Charles Sandfer to the 5. Sandfer's went off in the 5. Sandfer and Dillon Schwellenberg. Charles Sandfer, what happened? Their engine failure. Charles Sandfer in the Red Bull had an engine go up in smoke. And what happened with Schwellenberg? Oh, and Sandfer comes off the racetrack, and Dillon Schwellenberg was there. Oh, and Schwellenberg's not going to be happy about that at all. Schwellenberg had a top 5 run going. Sandfer's engine let go, and Sandfer crossed over in front of Dillon Schwellenberg. That could be looked over post-race, but the pole sitter had a chance at victory, and that chance at victory went up in smoke. And it is over for Sandfer. What a shame for Dillon Schwellenberg. Had high hopes for this event. It looks like his teammate could be the one that comes out on top today in Matthew Rodriguez. And what it would be for that team to get a victory. But Dillon Schwellenberg, oh, he's going to be so upset with this one. He might even fall out of the race. A top 5 run could spell disaster in falling outside the top 35. Chaos has ensued in the closing laps at Willow Springs. Jeff James for Martin Motorsports is in 10th place. James Shelly's in 9th now. Eric DeMax in 8th. Jeffrey Lynn has moved his way up to 7th. He stayed out of trouble. Dylan Young going to try and chase down Jeff James for that position. Dom Caps is in the top 15 there with Bobby Jones. Jordan Fisher as well. Jeff James trying to motor on by. There was an incident with Doug Lockrow and Zayden Davidson. Lockrow was running in 25th for Cloud9. Zayden Davidson goes to the inside. James Silverfox in the 34s with no hood, but he's racing there as well. Contact, and Silverfox and Lockrow spin down the hill. And Lockrow and Silverfox gonna lose a lot of positions. That was a top 25 run gone for the Cloud9. Absolute chaos has erupted at the end of this race. Matthew Rodriguez in the 9. Coming back around, he will take the white flag at Willow Springs. Rodriguez started so far back in this race last year. He finished 2nd to Luke Martin in CM Racing. This year, Dejon Weeks jumps in that ride for CM Racing, looked poised to win the race. An engine failure cost CM Racing their first win of the season, and Dejon Weeks his first win since 2019 at Darlington. Rodriguez ahead of DJ Kurtis, John Hart, Ryan Acosta. Acosta in position to take the championship lead. And then for 5th place, Jeffrey White holds it, but Jesse Turner to the inside of last year's winner of this race, Luke Martin. Jeffrey White roll over the back end. He's in trouble. He's trying to stay on the racetrack and not get spun out. He's dropped to 6th place. Jeffrey Lynn's in 7th. 8th is James Shelly. Then it's Eric DeMax. Dylan Young has made his way by him. Jeff James. James struggling with Dom Caps. So Jeff James loses out on the top 10 on the last lap, it looks like. Unless he can get by Dylan Young here. Dylan Young from 42nd all the way up to 10th place. What a rebound for him. But for Matthew Rodriguez in the 9 Napa Toyota Camry, stays out of trouble and kept his head in it. Matthew Rodriguez is going to end a 26-race winless streak. Matthew Rodriguez wins at Willow Springs. 2nd to DJ Kurtis. Arndt leads his teammate across the line of Ryan Acosta. 5th place, Jesse Turner. Then it's Jeffrey White. And gotta go a long ways back to Jeffrey Lynn. Lynn won at Watkins Glen, so I'm not entirely too surprised, but he had a lot of luck getting there. Jeffrey Lynn comes to the line. He's going to get his first top 10 of the season. A good points day. Jeffrey Lynn 7th. Then to the rest of the top 10. James Shelly, Eric DeMax, and Dylan Young. For Mace Enterprises and Eric DeMax. DeMax has surprised me this season. 9th place, a good run. Jeff James falls short of a top 10 run. But Matthew Rodriguez, congratulations to him on getting the win this afternoon. It's not really been the run of races he would have liked. He could have won the Daytona 500. Phoenix really didn't go his way at all. In California, his teammate was up front battling for the win, and he was nowhere to be seen. He was getting outran by the young guns. And Rodriguez stamps his authority in today. Rodriguez ties Jacob Hart with 12 Sony Cup Series wins in his career and moves his way up to 13th on the all-time wins list. Number 9 in victory lane at Willow Springs. Let's get you to our finishing results and standings after Willow Springs.